ladies, gentlemen, RPG gamers. Today I have my wonderful guest, Becca, or Becks Gaming Chats, my beautiful girlfriend, and today we're going to be bringing you guys 10 RPGs, both modern and retro, that we think are must-plays.
I'm going to be covering the retro RPGs, and he is going to be covering all things modern.
Yes. So by all means, let's get into 10 must-play RPGs. We're going to start off with a retro RPG.
So the first retro RPG we are starting with is Star Ocean. First departure are Star Ocean. There's so many things that I love about this game. I love the combat. I love the freedom. There's so much that you can do. I feel like with this game, they really tried to make something different. The game isn't too long either, so if you are wanting to try something new, this one you can easily fit in somewhere. I feel like it's a great starting point to get into retro RPGs if you haven't before. Swice, that was actually the first retro RPG I had him play for me.
Yeah, like the first pixelated JRPG I played. She had me play. I had a great time with it, and I didn't think I would. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun for us to play that together. But I just feel like there's so many elements that make it great and fun. And
Ronix is a great character.
Yes, Starflare. Yeah, the characters are great. The combat's great. The whole game's just great. You should definitely give it a try.
Play Star Ocean! Alright, now time to sprinkle some modern RPG into your lives. Can you guess this one?
Xenoblade?
Sheesh! Yes, Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Switch. Now, honestly, they make these games so you could start at 1, 2, or 3. I really recommend you start at 1. Not only is it still fantastic gameplay-wise and story-wise, it's the definitive edition, so you got remastered visuals in there, the gameplay is tuned up a bit, and then from there you'll get callbacks in 2 and 3, and they're so good. So you can start at any of them. If 1 is not your forte, you could definitely start at 2. I actually started at Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and from there I loved the series. But Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is one of the biggest journeys that I've had so far with any modern JRPG. The characters, there's so much to them, and the world is so grand that you're going to find yourself on an adventure when you go through this game. There's so much to unlock, so much to uncover, and so many battles to have. So Xenoblade Chronicles, in my opinion, if you have a Nintendo Switch, is a must-have. Fantastic modern RPG series.
I second that. Yep.
I actually had her play it for the first time. She was really into Xenogears, and I was like, you gotta play Xenoblade, come on, try it.
Yeah, I actually played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first, and then I was like, let me play 1, please?
And it started the flow for her too, and yeah, so there's a lot to enjoy from Xenoblade.
This next one I'm recommending is Fire Emblem Sacred Stones.
Oh, I know nothing about this game.
Now, this is the very first Fire Emblem game I ever played. It is a tactical RPG. I think there's so many amazing things about this game. The strategies that you have to use for it. This was before they gave you the rewind method.
Oh.
So you have to use your skills, and if you don't, you lose a party member, and then you have to go back to the beginning of the chapter. I actually really like that aspect of it. I know the newer games have classical mode, but I feel like this was the most advanced yet bare bones the series was, and I feel like it peaked here, honestly. I loved the characters, every single unit I needed to keep alive. I loved how it made my brain work. I think it's one of the best tactical games ever. I know people praise Final Fantasy Tactics, but I feel like this game actually blows that one out of the water. I definitely recommend this if you want to play more tactical RPGs.
The next modern RPG I want to recommend is Dark Souls. Now, I know the first thing a lot of you guys are thinking, you're scared off because it's supposed to be very, very hard. Now, Souls, I honestly think is a beautiful game, which is ridiculous by, you know, how the environment actually looks. It looks like the apocalypse, the end of the world. But it is very dark in its environment. But with Souls, you're progressing through these levels and you're getting so strong every step you take, and that is supposed to be what an RPG is made of. You're getting stronger, you're leveling up, and you feel that progression really strongly through that game. You are literally a peasant at the beginning, and at the end you could take down gods, basically. But the challenge is what tells the story almost. You respect the enemies that are in the areas, and there's so much enemy variety. The world is so intricately designed to where you're seeing all the story all around you, and it tells its story in a really cool way, in my opinion. And I think every RPG fan should try Dark Souls. There's many ways to get through it. You know, you have NPCs, you can invite your friends, you could grow levels, you could grind. You know, it's an RPG, you could just go out and beat the hell out of the strongest enemy and just get a bunch of XP. But Dark Souls is fantastic. The combat and bosses are just incredible, areas are amazing, and the story is told through the gameplay. So Dark Souls, when I played it, became one of my top RPGs of all time. You gotta try it.
Praise the sun!
Praise the sun!
The next game on my list is Secret of Mana, and I actually played this game a lot as a kid, and I was really bad at it, so I didn't know how to advance at all, and I recently played it this year, and I beat it for the first time, and I thought it was a wonderful experience. It is one of those that I would suggest a guide for, just because it's a pretty big world, honestly, for a Super NES game. So just in case, if you get lost, use a guide. Don't feel bad about it at all. I think
the game that drove me crazy with the sounds
Yeah.
sometimes. Oh, that's an old school RPG.
I
Old
love
school.
the soundtrack of the game. Swice, not really a fan.
I mean, some songs were cool. It was old and repetitive.
I love the combat for this game. It's really unique. You have to level up your weapons and your magic, so you have to make sure you're constantly using them. I feel like that is a great way for you to switch up
Yeah, that does sound fun.
all of your elements, because other times I don't really feel the need to. I'm like, I'm just gonna use the same old thing over and over again. So I really loved that aspect, and the game is pretty fast-paced. There's a lot to do in the game, but I never felt like I was just waiting for the story to continue. It was just go, go, go the whole time, and I loved it.
The next modern RPG I want to recommend, it's kind of a basic one like you've heard it before, but Persona 5 Royal, but I want to pair that with Persona 5 Strikers. Persona 5 is talked about a lot in my opinion because it's just a fantastic game. I went through it and had an absolutely incredible time, gameplay-wise, dungeon-wise, character-wise. It was just an incredible modern RPG in my opinion. And then when you go from that to Persona 5 Strikers, you have more of an action RPG combat system on your hands, and it's the direct sequel to it. It's more so the direct sequel to the original Persona 5, but nothing really clashes. Like, you could just play Persona 5 Royal and then go right into Persona 5 Strikers. But these two games are so good, in my opinion. Some of the best bosses and characters I've played so far in JRPGs, so I have to recommend it, even if you've heard it before. And I know a lot of people like to write down on it because, you know, they've heard it a lot, even though they haven't played it, so they like to talk it down. But I think it's a fantastic series, and if you want to get into more modern JRPGs, I think you should really try it.
Live Alive is the next game on my list. I was waiting for this game to be localized in some form or fashion. I was also trying to play the fan translation before it even came to the West, but I could never get it working, so I was so happy when they finally announced it. I screamed so loud. This game is one of the most unique games I have ever played, and it quickly shot up in my top 5 RPGs of all time. Actually, I think games of all time. You play as several different characters, each of their stories are unique, and I had a blast through every single one. Like, I don't want to spoil the game, but the ending blew me away so much. I loved every little bit of it. I had chills. I played the game for 13 hours straight just to see the end and the final boss. Oh my god, the music, the soundtrack.
Awesome.
It's probably my favorite game soundtrack of all
Yoko
time.
Shimomura.
Yes.
The queen.
Yes. I think that was her first soundtrack ever
I think it was,
that she
yeah.
worked on, but yeah.
incredible.
A wonderful game. I recommend it to everybody. And if you try it, I really hope you like it.
The next modern RPG I want to recommend is Dragon Quest XI. Now this is a perfect mesh almost of like old becomes new. It's very stylized like an old school JRPG. You even have in the S edition, you can make it pixelized and just play it through the whole game like that. But Dragon Quest XI is like an old school JRPG built in 3D with beautiful graphics and a giant world to explore. It's not open world, but the exploration is really nicely designed, so you're actually looking around for items, there's hidden secrets, you know, it's not just hallways. So Dragon Quest XI was awesome. There is an amazing endgame in my opinion with lots of challenge. It's just a really pretty, vibrant, cool JRPG, and it's almost like you're playing a retro style in the modern age. Definitely play Dragon Quest XI.
Yes.
Also, thank you to Becca because she's the one who recommended it to me.
Yes,
thank
my first plat. My
Oh,
first
the
PlayStation
plat. I need to get
Love
the plat,
that
to be
game.
honest. I suck at plats.
So, it's a little debatable on if the PlayStation 2 is retro or not because a lot of us don't want to feel old. I am going to count it as a retro.
I would count it.
Yeah. So this game, you guys are going to be like, obviously. But it is Tales of the Abyss. I just think this game is wonderful. It is my favorite game ever. The characters, they're all so well written. The story is amazing. The combat, it may be a bit simple, but I really love it. There's just so many aspects about this game that are amazing to me. I recommend this game to everybody, especially if they love RPGs. I really hope that if you play it, you enjoy it.
The final modern RPG I want to include is a brand new one that I actually just played, Lies of P.
Lies of P.
So, Lies of Peak is actually what I like to call it. This game is just incredible on so many levels. So it is a Souls-like. I know I'm recommending you guys a bunch of games where you're gonna get your ass kicked, but honestly, the RPG genre is kind of inherently challenging at times, in my opinion. The old Final Fantasies and stuff used to be hard, and there's a whole bunch. But with Lies of P, the story they actually made and the world that they created stands on its own aside from Dark Souls. It's like a big love letter, and they get everything right, from the combat to the bosses to the creepy level design. It's so nice to explore in this game. You get amazing views, you get really awesome exploration, and a crap ton of different weapons and stuff to build, so there's a lot of great RPG elements here. Lies of P was just such a surprise banger, I have to put it on this list. It's a modern RPG I think everybody needs to play. Even if you gotta bang your head against the wall a little bit, grind, and to beat the game, but it's so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, he's making me play Bloodborne for him right now, and I'm like, but I want to play Lies of P.
Lies of Peak! But yeah, I definitely recommend that game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to a collab with me and Becca. It is so awesome when we are able to do a video together like this. So I'm going to have her channel linked down in the description. Make sure to go check her out. It's Becks Gaming Chats. Go show her some love for me. Let me know down below what type of ideas you guys want to see from us. There's plenty that we could do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next JRPG video. Peace.